Thank you all.
It's our anniversary. I
She
know
gonna
y'all.
sing to me today.
Wait, it's our anniversary.
Oh, that's right.
First thing I'll do is run straight to you. It's our anniversary.
It's our anniversary.
Anniversary.
My morning tone.
This is our anniversary special, y'all.
Y'all invite somebody on in.
Hey.
Invite somebody in. Share the broadcast. Share it. Love you too, bro. Share the broadcast.
Hey, family.
We are excited about today. Valerie,
It's
Facebook user, happy anniversary. Thank you. Thank you. What better way to celebrate today than with...
Oh, let me turn it down.
I mean, because you like going in.
Okay. Our anniversary is actually next Thursday on March 24th. However, there'll be no Fearless Conversations because we'll actually be celebrating. So we wanted to do a Fearless Conversation anniversary special 1 week early. And then we will wrap up Fearless Conversations on March 31st, which will be our 12th. Yeah, our 12th session. So it will be our last one, March 31st. And then we're going to have a very special show on April 1st. It's our wrap-up show. You want to be a part of that because we're going to be giving away some stuff. Y'all know I love to give away some stuff. Hey, Valerie.
I've had my coffee this morning.
Hey, Jennifer.
Wake up.
Hi, Michelle. Good morning.
Good morning, Janice. Hey, y'all. So, yeah, this is my first time on the show. You know, she let me be on her show today.
The producer is live and in color, y'all.
Y'all have no idea how many planes I've been sitting on trying to be sure her show goes off right. And not having airport lobbies, trying to be sure she's good because Kelly hasn't quite got the tech part yet. But I told her I'll be sure she gets it going well. But today she has allowed me to be on her show. So hey to everybody.
Pastor Brandon is in the building. Yes.
Yeah.
Might say, wake up, cousin B.
It's about time. I know I wanted to go make my coffee. Good morning, Barbara. Good morning. I haven't made my coffee yet, so I'll have it afterward.
Well, I hope you're ready for these questions.
I have not looked at the
questions. You
got to
be quick on your feet.
I haven't looked at
these questions because you know I'm gonna stump you on live TV.
I haven't looked at them, so I will be. So I will be. It'll be new for me. It'll be new for me. But what other? Oh, you had announcements.
Wait, yeah. So quick announcements. If you haven't gotten your book,
get your book.
Get your book. You can order it.
Let me encourage y'all today. Get the book. thefearlessone.com. They're flying off.
Look. It's available on Amazon this week.
Amazon.
And wait, what's today? Thursday? Tomorrow is the last day that you can get it free on Kindle. Now, it's been free on Kindle all week. I can't make it free. Corey, you got yours? Yes, sir. I can't make it free on Amazon forever. So I did it for the longest amount of time that they would allow because, you know, Amazon go get their money.
Right.
So if you order it from thefearlessone.com, you can get the free book. This week on... Ayana interrupted class to watch y'all today. Girl, Pastor Barnett getting ready to bless you real good. So if you like it on Kindle, you can get it free until tomorrow on Kindle, and then that's going to be it. And you can order the book on Amazon as well. So I'm really excited about
But not only that, write a review on there too. When you go on, be sure that you write a review. You can go to thefearlessone.com, order your book at thefearlessone.com. It's right there on the page, and write a review. Just say, loved it. This is blessed. We've already seen the reviews coming in, and it's been good to see how much of a blessing what God has given you is blessing the world. And it's already traveling out to nations and all of that. And so it has been really good to see because God has intended us to live life fearlessly. And so in order to take that next step, some of you all just need this word in you to get you to take that next jump. So we are excited. And
we give away prizes. We give away prizes for reviews around here. When we do our finale show on April 1st, Friday, April 1st, we're giving away 6.
Friday, April 1st?
Yes, Friday, April 1st.
Okay.
We're giving away six prizes. 4 reviews. We're just going to draw them out of the hat. But because Amazon doesn't post reviews as soon as you do it, I'm just giving it some time. So from now until then, you have Friday, April 1st, baby.
All right.
The last Fearless Conversation is March 31st.
March 31st. Okay.
Thursday.
And then Friday, April 1st.
Oh my goodness, Pastor Barnett.
Well, because in my mind, I'm thinking another airport run because I'll be in the
You'll be
airport
at the airport
on April 1st.
I
So
wanted
that's
you
what
on this show with me.
we'll see. That's what
Okay.
what happens here. But Pastor Barnett is going to help us with this communication.
This
today.
is why this show has no time limit, because
what are you doing
if
here?
Brandon is going to be on the show and we're going to be doing this,
Y'all getting it firsthand, and we gonna dig right on into fearless marriages.
Yes. So we have been married officially 15 years next Thursday.
Yeah.
Listen,
It's flown by.
it really has.
Life with her is beautiful. It's always an adventure. Always an adventure, y'all. Last night we got dressed up to go to a
the black violin.
We went to a black violin show. It was awesome. She just called. She called me at noon. Babe, get tickets. Let's go to the show tonight. Let's get dressed up. Everybody needs haircuts. And off we go.
Now listen, Pastor Barnett is not on here yet, but I know he can hear me. I'm where I am, and it's 12, and I'm calling him. I want you to get these tickets. Well, as soon as I get home, I'm going to take the boys to get the haircut. At the same time, I'm going to fix Danielle's hair, and I got their clothes already ready under the cleaner's bag from the last time they dressed up. They haven't been worn. He just like freezes on me because he cannot conceptualize all 5 of these moving parts that I just gave him. Look, babe, I just need you to get the ticket.
Well, no, that wasn't it. I think,
baby,
no, it was.
You were like, this is so last minute. What do you mean? You just want to get tickets?
That wasn't what got me. What got me was I got a little sticker shock with the tickets. I went to the wrong ticket place. And I said, wait a minute, these tickets are how much? And who are these guys? I said, I'm still trying to go see Anita Baker next month. I got to have.
Oh, yeah. Anita Baker was on your, but he already has tickets. Flight tickets to go to WrestleMania, plane tickets to go to WrestleMania.
But that was paid for months ago. That was paid for months ago.
We had a ball. We had a ball. If you've never been to see the Black Violins, go see them. 2 young Black boys who met in high school in the orchestra class, who perfected their craft.
But it was great. But we got to get into it.
It was great. Let's get into this because, we can do this all day. I apologize, Pastor Barnett. So listen, about marriage. This is what I want to say before we introduce our speaker. You can't get to 15 years without challenges. You can't get to 15 years without bumps in the road and, building walls that you have to break down and, letting people in your space. And then along the way, finding out that you might have some issues that are the cause of some of your issues in your marriage. And for me, and we'll talk about this a little later, I found out that I had a huge fear that caused me to treat my husband a certain way in a certain department. We'll talk about that in a second. So without further ado, we will welcome to the stage Pastor Daryl Barnett. Y'all give him an online hand.
Come on, give him. He's in the house, y'all.
Amen. Hey, happy anniversary.
Thank you.
Welcome to the show today.
It's my privilege to be here.
We're honored. Now, he actually did our marriage counseling 16 years ago, before we got married. So, it was just one of the best. We've always talked about that being one of the best premier marriage classes that everyone needs to go through. So if you're on here, you're single, I don't know if that is even available now, but he can share that if that is or isn't, but it's one you need to go through. But yes, let's welcome
Somebody
Pastor
said,
Barnett.
Snap, the man himself. Pastor Barnett, we had some friends that were getting married, and I came home and I went in my file folder and got the papers from our counseling, and I was like, oh no, we gonna use this right here because this is some good stuff. And they really, really enjoyed the content, and I was like,
Amen.
I know.
Amen. Some of the content is timeless.
It is. It is. Well, Pastor Barnett, today's conversation, as you have heard, is about having and keeping a fearless marriage. So I guess before we let you dive in and teach, because we want to hear from you, and I have guests of your caliber on the show. I have my pen and my notebook because I'm prepared to learn as well. However, I just wanted to ask you a general question.
Sure.
What does a fearless marriage look like? And is that even possible? You've been married how many years?
39.
39. Next time I see you, I want you to lay hands on me, you and your wife. So we can get 39. Right?
Oh, yeah.
So what does a fearless marriage look like? And or is that possible?
Oh boy. You know how to ask the loaded questions.
I know, right off the bat.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, so the simple answer is yes, a fearless marriage is absolutely possible. But there's a education and knowledge stream that needs to be present in a marriage so that things that could be potentially fearful are neutralized by anointing, knowledge, and awareness.
Oh, knowledge and education.
So we've got work to do. And so most marriages have different kinds of fears because of I am a product of my experience and background. And so I bring to the table apprehensions and nuances that have been a part of my growth and development. And it's like baggage carrying it into my marriage relationship that nobody talks about, the elephant in the room. You know, why a man or a woman responds in the way they do is because of the experiences that they have. And so everybody's a little bit different. And so when we talk about a fearless marriage, we really have to talk to the individual and find out what's going on. There may be some commonalities, and perhaps we'll get to those today. But, you know, because we are individuals, we need some individual awarenesses that help us in our marriages.
But do you address?
Do I what? I didn't hear.
Do you address that when you counsel couples now? So I guess I'm asking that question because when I was in marriage counseling, and you think about when we prayer, for example, breaking soul ties.
Sure.
Right. And you cover all of these past relationships, and it was great. It was great. But what about if your fear doesn't stem from a past relationship with, somebody of the opposite sex? Like, how would a person even know that that's something they need to address? You see what I mean? Like, for me, there's a lot of male figures in my life that I loved and honored that walked out, right? I don't care if it was by death. I don't care if it was by divorce in the family or if he just so chose. But for me, I found that I had just been disappointed by a lot of men that I honored and loved that left. And I think it wasn't until like year 8 all the time. And I said to her, and I don't think I've ever shared this with you. Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, this is all new, so I'm getting in here fresh.
Yeah, got your hand on your chin and everything.
I'm listening.
But I said this in conversation with her, just run my mouth. And because she was asking me, Kelly, why don't you ever initiate then? Then why don't you plan this then? And why don't you, And I was like, there is no way in the world that I'm going to love him more than he loves me. And when I said it, I was like, whoa. Why did I say that? Why did I feel like that? And I realized, like, she helped me talk through that, and I realized it was my own fear of every man that I love ends up walking out. And I was like, so this time around, I'm going to put my love on the back burner a little bit, and I'm going to let somebody love me, and I'm just going to kind of keep it under the radar. I'm going to love them enough, but I'm not going to put myself in a position to be hurt or left or walked out on and I was like, wow, I really didn't know that I had that issue. So how do we help people in the beginning before they get married to even know to go that far back?
Well, the challenge is they don't know to go that far back. All they know is that they are responding out of what they would call unction or what being smart.
Mm.
They are protecting themselves. You've gone in a pretty specific focused here, and so your response to your marriage relationship is coming from this collaboration of events that have
Mhm.
imposed that mindset on you that I'm not going to set myself up
Mhm.
for the level of disappointment and or challenge that I've had in the past. Um, the challenge with that is that the wall that protects you also insulates you, and it keeps you from experiencing the best that you
Mhm.
could have in your relationship. Now, interestingly, um, that sword cuts both ways because it is better for a woman. And okay, now, okay, I am. What do you
Let
call
me
it?
hear this.
I'm not trying to be politically correct. The
Hmm.
things that I am speaking from right now are what I have called, from the lessons the Lord has given me, divine attributes. That we're not the same, men and women, and we don't respond to the same stimulus in the same way. And oh man, boy, Kelly, you sure know how to bring them up. But let me say it like this. Let me kind of capsulize what I'm trying to focus on. Um, it is better when a woman is pursued by a man. It is simply better.
Oh
Um,
yes.
it is not well, not but not for the reasons that you expressed.
Oh, okay. Yes, sir. Okay,
No,
sorry.
no disrespect, but not for the reasons that you expressed.
Okay.
The reason is because she has a desire and a need to bond with the man, and when a man is pursued, he doesn't bond. When a man is pursued, he accepts and he relishes and he appreciates, but that's
Mm.
not how a man bonds. Um, and that's why when women give too much, they feel ultimately many times disrespected, or their
Mm.
efforts were not valued because they thought that the man was going to respond like a woman, and he's not designed like that.
Come
When,
on.
when a woman is pursued by a man, his antenna is up. He is sharp because he has been designed to pursue. He's been designed to conquer, if I can use that word, and to
Yes.
or acquire. And that's why it's a fine line when a woman when she recognizes that she needs to be pursued, that she doesn't play it to her advantage with respect to using him, because oh boy, if she uses him, then he'll see that his efforts are not fruitful and he will stop.
Mm.
Mm.
And so if her heart is genuine and receives his pursuit, and he can catch her in his pursuit, not keep her, hold her, and keep her down, but catch her, he'll be some kind of man. If she just presents herself and just serves and just gives and just does those things, then he'll be happy about it, but he won't bond with her because there's nothing to chase.
Mm.
Wow.
And I'm using these words in a kind of a cavalier way, but we could
Yeah,
have a much deeper conversation about these things.
man. Hold on. Let me
I
just
hope
say
So
y'all. I
about
hope
that
y'all
for
are
a
so
ready. Yeah.
moment.
so now so a woman needs to let a man know that she is interested, but not pursue and not avail all of herself. Now we're talking about marriage, so a woman availing herself to a man, because he is her husband, is different than in a courtship. And so I don't know who we have in the room, but if a woman is in a marriage, and her husband doesn't have to pursue and or engage her from his own initiative, kind of falls flat.
It does, Pastor Barnett.
So he has to know. But and so what I'm saying is there's a whole new culture that we need to usher in to our mindset and awarenesses so that marriage and family flows as intended.
What's the culture?
The okay.
You going?
Listen.
No, I'll explain it. And let me give you the short answers because it's worth an answer. We have grown in a generation where there has been frustration between men and women, husbands and wives, because they didn't understand what God had done. They didn't understand what I call divine attributes. They didn't understand that a man, he responds to different stimulus. He's not misbehaving and ignoring you. He's just not like you. And the same for a woman. And so many times in a marriage relationship, the challenges are because of hurt feelings. Because if he loved me, he would, and then they fill in the blank with something that a woman would do. And or if she respected me, she never would have. But she's engaging him like a woman would engage a woman, and he's engaging her like a man would engage a man. They know that there are differences, but because they don't understand them, wounded feelings and perceptions are driving the day. And so the cultural differences that need to shift are our awarenesses of what God did and what is the natural response of a man. And when I know the natural responses of a man, I'll respect them and not be offended when he doesn't act like one of my girlfriends. And so I, for example, if he loved me, he would have. And all of the ladies agree. Yep, you're absolutely right. If he loved me, he would have. And the man is saying, would have what? It never occurred to him. And so now the women say, he's playing stupid. No, he's just a man.
He's not playing stupid, Pastor Barnett. Are you sure?
He's not playing stupid. He's not playing stupid. As a matter of fact, give you this example. When a man says, will you say that again? Or what did you say? He's looking to connect with you and hear what you said, because whatever hit him at a glance. Remember, well, not remember, but in the teachings that the Lord has given me, a man has blinder awareness. And when he's focused on something, I know he's sitting there. But if he's not focused on you, he's not hearing everything that you say.
Woo, and so, come on.
So when you say something to him and he says, will you say that again? He's not playing stupid and he wasn't ignoring you. He is now addressing you and putting you into the valued space.
Come on
with you.
Repeating myself is something that I don't like to do.
And so that happens to be a pet peeve of hers. And so when I'm focused in on something, because she knows when I get focused in, whether it's my message for Sunday, whether it's for all the stuff we've got, there's a million things happening. She comes in and she has a laundry list of things she likes to run down at one point, and it's typically like, and how quickly can you get it done? And so I'm going, well, wait a minute. I'm in on this over here.
I just don't like for you to say what after I just said something like you just completely
well,
didn't
I
hear
typically
me.
Don't say what. I say, yes, honey.
What did you say? What did you? But Pastor Barnett,
let me help you with that. When a man is sitting there focused on something, in order for him to address you properly, he has to remove what he is focused on and hear you. And if you've got a laundry list of items and you put one on the table and then you snatch that off and put another on the table and snatch that off and put another on the table, you're going through all of the things that he may need to be aware of, but you are not communicating with him. You're frustrating him.
Oh, shoot.
And one of the things a man would say, I'm giving him the words to say, and maybe this is going to start a challenge. Don't put that in my head right now. Because I can't focus on it. And she because that it's like, are you, and for the women, because they're designed with dispersed awareness, are you stupid? Why you're just sitting there, but she doesn't understand how he's been designed. And so plowing through how he has been designed creates frustration for him. And now he's smart enough to make mental notes and jot them down, but it is at a much higher level of frustration than the woman is ever aware. And now she's wondering why he has an attitude.
Okay.
I hope y'all were ready for today. I know this has surprised some of your timelines today.
So let me ask you this.
My
We have
goodness.
so many comments. Listen, y'all, we see these comments.
Oh,
It's very hard to.
I'm posting them in as they come, and I see my bro is on here, Monty. He said y'all better be ready.
Monty is the premarital architect.
Yeah.
So he's enjoying this.
But he also said,
man,
but he also said what you preached last month at the FMA was dynamic. He said that earlier, which it always is.
I want to say this about the comments. We're not ignoring them. Brandon is posting them as fast as he can.
Oh no, y'all.
There's going to come a moment where we invite you all to post your questions. Don't post any questions yet because I don't want them to scroll and then we miss them. So you can post your comments, but
keep posting the comments. Keep posting. 28 years and I needed this. Come on, see.
Somebody said, "Hold on, let me go apologize." Yes, let me do this right here publicly because I'm gonna tell y'all right now. I've been married 15 years. I don't apologize often. Oh, I'm okay with being honest with that. I do not apologize often, honey.
Yeah, when there's an apology, it's monumental, and typically I'll probably make her feel
on national TV, baby.
National TV.
I apologize. I'm sorry.
I might have lipstick on.
It's okay. Okay, so here's what I want to ask you, Pastor Barnett. I have to be aware that he's not created to maintain my list. Okay, he does not have, what did you call it, dispersed awareness like I do. And so I am not allowed to be frustrated when he says, "What did you say?" I need to just take a step back and say, okay, he just emptied his mind and made space.
I'm saying that if you understand what you're working with, you won't be frustrated with it. You'll understand it. And so you will address him at a time that he can focus, give you attention, and the conversation and the flow of the intent of the conversation can be processed by him so that he is not operating out of any level of anxiety or angst because you caught him at the wrong time. And so the women will all say, well, when is the right time?
Right. That was my next question.
There's a lack of understanding on how he's wired. It's not that he can't focus, but when you catch him, when he's focused on something else, it requires more of a shift than you're aware of. That's all.
Okay. I got you.
I like that too, Nikki. She said just write a list.
Write him a list, slide it over to him.
No, don't do that.
Oh, don't do that. Don't do that. Okay.
No.
Wait, but she said
let me coach you right now.
Okay.
If you have a list of things that you need to talk about, then you ask him, do you have 15 minutes to talk? Not we need to talk. Forget that. But do you have 15 minutes? This is what that does for him. That allows him to say yes in 3 minutes or in 5 minutes because he's got a shift and he knows how long it's going to take to shift. And when he knows that it is not an indefinite length of time that you are asking of him, he's not frustrated with what's going on now. Now you're saying I've got some high priority item or some, it doesn't have to be so technical, you know, I guess I'm in business mode, but honey, do you have like 15 minutes to talk about a couple of things on my mind? He says, yes, because
that's what she said. She said, give him some time.
You have given him enough detail for him to manage the shift.
Right.
If you give him a list like that, you'll frustrate him and say, oh, geez, now what?
What if I give it to him and say, you know, let me know when you have time to discuss this, and then I'm just patient with him and just.
I guess it depends on. I don't know. I think again, as we've been discussing, the communication of men and women are very different. Because I know the other day I was trying to explain to her something. So I think she asked me a question, one that she typically asks, and it frustrated me. And I said, "Babe,"
I said, "What did you do today?"
Yeah, sometimes.
When did you say it?
Right.
It was the end of the day.
Yeah.
And he was on his phone just doing nothing.
Yeah.
And I said, what did you do today?
That's the assumption. The assumption that he's on his phone doing nothing.
There
because
it
the
is.
woman can be on the phone doing nothing. A man can't.
But Pastor Barnett, why was he offended by the question? This is all I want to know. He was offended because I said, what did you do today? What he heard was, I've been busy all day and you ain't been doing nothing but sitting on that phone. So show me what you've done today. That's not what I was asking. I was really just wanting to know how his day was and what he did. But he got all offended, and
Well,
it turned into something.
it wasn't necessarily offended. It was because it was a laundry list of things that entire day, and I was just actually tired. And I think I was on the phone texting somebody about something for church, and then I hear, "Well, what did you do today?" And I'm like, it's almost like it was a joke that was out, and I've been trying to remember what it was, and it was a way to ask a man that question. It was something like, "What did you do today?" Was like the wrong question. The second question was, "You look so nice in that robe." I was sure it was some kind of joke or something to try to lighten up the question. But
let me say this, that we need a whole new hour to coach men and women on how to ask questions so that they are not offensive. Because I'm studying this, and the Lord is dropping this on me. I'm learning that 39 years of marriage, I'm learning that it is not my wife's intent to frustrate me or call me out. She's asking questions, but the way she asked, if I hadn't been studying this and knew where it was coming from, it would have gone in a different direction.
Yeah.
I'm throwing all my questions out the window.
Then,
I just want to see.
And then we'll get Pastor Barnett's Cash App too. Pastor Barnett, do you have a Cash App? Somebody said, "What is it?" I think Monty said.
Yeah, it's a $D Pastor B.
D Pastor B.
$, D, capital P, ASTOR B.
Val, can you type it in the chat?
If Val can type it in the chat, because I don't think I did it right.
What did you say?
I'm not in here. I don't want
to type it. Someone
will ask.
I've decided to throw out my questions.
Oh, you are?
Yes, because I want to listen to.
Okay, there
what
it
he
is.
has to say.
Mine's got it.
You're throwing out your questions. Don't do that.
Listen, because and as you're talking, I'm just thinking, man, we could do a whole fearless marriage conference with you, and we can talk about this for a whole week. Because we've been married 15 years. There are like things that we have set in stone that need to be undone. And it takes more than a 45-minute conversation to do that. There are people on here who've been married longer, shorter, who could just have a successful marriage and avoid the pitfalls. So I'm just like, man, we really do.
It would be huge.
It would be huge.
And it's so needed.
Yeah. I was going to say, you mentioned the premarital class, and I'm proud of that work that I had done so many years ago. But when I go back into those notes, it's like I know so much more now. That I think the content is solid, but it needs to extend another 5 classes for the new content that is, I think, important for the premarital individual, because we've experienced a lifetime of a culture that has been trying to tell us that men and women are the same. And if men and women are the same, then men are misbehaving when they can talk with women, and women are misbehaving when they talk with men. But what if nobody's misbehaving? And I wasn't designed to be just like you. I was designed to be supportive and work in concert with you. We've got to get back to what God had intended.
What happened, Pastor Barnett? What happened when Adam went to sleep and woke up to Eve? What happened?
Well, there's a lot that happened. Remember, the Lord said, I will make a help meet for him. I will make somebody suitable for him. He didn't need another Adam. He was in the image and likeness of God. Male and female created he them, and called their name Adam. And so when he was talking to the male portion of Adam, that's not out of bounds, because we understand that I can have a conversation with Jesus, and we know that he's fully God. But when we have a conversation with God the Father, that's a different kind of conversation, because Adam was in the image and likeness of God. God could talk to the male portion like the Son of God and not ignore the the other portion that was the female portion. But the Lord said, I will make a helpmeet for him. So when he's put her in her own body, the female portion in her own body, the attributes that were conducive to the expression of femininity and nurturing were put in that vessel that we call a woman. And that is awesome. And she is also in the image and likeness of God. The explanations that I have given are like the sliders on a equalizer, that on the male side, there were all of the man and female are in the image and likeness of God. On the male side, the attributes or the sliders are up, that for those things that the male is supposed to bring to the relationship, and the ones that are uniquely female are moderated and muted. On the woman's side, it's the exact opposite, so that together they have all frequencies flowing together for what is designed to function in the perfect image and likeness of God. When we start messing with the sliders, that's what we're talking about. When we start saying we're all of the same, and now a man needs to get in touch with his feminine side. Well, when he does, you really want that? Now, the provisioner and the protector and all of those attributes that God has placed in him to cover the family are muted. And then he's wondering, why won't she go get a job? Well, because the female sliders are up and the provisioners have been pressed down. And I don't have anything against women working. I'm just saying that we need to recognize how God had intended it.
So what do you think? Do you think?
I think that when we began to have these conversations and we go back into what God had intended, God never, and oh, by the way, God never intended for a woman to be barefoot and pregnant. That wasn't his goal. The Lord's goal was that mankind would dominate the earth from the full expression of in his image and after his likeness. And the best way to do that was to have all of the sliders up simply in two different expressions. And when they would work together and understand one another, it could flow. And so we need another level of awarenesses and another level of understanding on how we have been designed so that we can fulfill the calling of God on our lives. Instead of most of the times when husbands and wives are having challenges with each other, they are competing and bumping heads. And they were never intended to compete. They were intended to strengthen one another, even when they don't disagree, when they don't agree. They bring their perspectives to the table, and when the perspectives are managed for oneness, they walk stronger together.
So when sin entered the world and fear came with it, do you think that's where I don't know, because I'm trying to figure out where the disconnect came, because they were created so perfectly, and then all of a sudden we have relationship issues, right?
Well, understand what happened from the Genesis narrative. In Genesis chapter 2, the Lord brought the female to Adam, and he said she's the mother of all living. In Genesis chapter 3, the enemy is talking to them. And the thing that the Lord tells us up front is, and the serpent was more subtle than all of the beasts of the field. And so the development of wholeness, we don't get to see the expression of the development of wholeness without the enemy playing a pivotal role up front from the first relationship. And so when we are talking about born in sin and created in iniquity, well, that's because the enemy's influence has been subtly engaging mankind for the diffusing of the power of God, literally since we've understood mankind from Adam and Eve.
Let me ask you this. Before you got married, when you were courting your wife, was there anything that you feared about marriage?
No, because I was getting ready to say I was stupid. Because I thought I knew everything. I thought I was smart enough. I was blessed to grow up in a household where mom and dad loved each other and gave me a positive role model. My dad was strong and he was the provider. And I had watched him over the course of my lifetime and felt that I had learned my lesson well. And so if I was going to bring that, and it wasn't that my parents didn't have issues, but I saw them go through issues and come out still loving one another. And I thought, doesn't everybody do that? And so I was blindsided by innocence, if I can say it like that.
You had a good picture.
I had a good image. And so I thought that I know how to do this. And so I didn't have any fears moving forward. What I did not know is that the serpent was more subtle than all of the beasts of the field, and that there were things that I would have to learn along the way that I had not been prepared for.
Did you fear anything going into marriage, babe?
No, I didn't. I think it was so interesting. Our story was so unique. I think I was ready for the dive. I don't even think in fact, we told everybody we were just inviting them to the celebration. We already knew we were jumping in. I was young. I was younger, and so yeah, we both just jumped in.
And nothing's wrong with that. And I'm not saying that anything is inherently wrong. I'm saying that we're growing.
Sure.
We're growing. And some of the things that have impacted us in a way for which we were unaware is manifesting now, and we're having to address it in hindsight. For example, many of the foods that we eat, and I know, we have people who are high in nutrition and all of those things, and well placed, because most of the foods that we eat have been impacted by hormones, growth hormones for cattle and other animals, and pesticides that are on the plants and items like that. And so every part of it. And so I'm saying that because those elements in the foods that we consume affect and influence us in ways that we're only now realizing.
You mean hormonally that affect the marriage?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Absolutely.
Wow.
We are spirit, soul, and body.
Mm-hmm.
And the spirit is designed to lead the way. The soul, mind, will, emotions, imagination, and intellect is designed to be the translator / communicator of ideas, thoughts, and notions that come from both the spirit realm and the flesh. So it's the negotiator or mediator from the spirit and the flesh. And the flesh also has a voice, and the flesh has an impact, and the spirit and soul recognizes it and then translates it into function. And when the body is malnourished or has, for example, or has a hurt, then it may hurt the heart, but it also hurts the spirit or hinders the spirit. Well, if we have another conversation, let's have that conversation. But let me put it like this. One of the things that is known, I'm talking about from the body right now, is a man needs 30 times more testosterone. All men need 30 times more testosterone in their body than does a woman.
Okay.
Why is that? Because the function that has been put as a male attribute burns testosterone for divine function. I've been designed to provide, and burning testosterone gives me focus and gives me energy to engage and acquire for the perspective of my family. Huge. When a man begins to take on estrogen, some of these hormones that are in our meats, it reduces testosterone. So the very fuel that he needs to burn and do what has been a God attribute for him is being impacted by the way he eats.
Dang.
And nobody's laughing but the devil. And so while these things have been done for industry, for the convenience of men, and for profit, it has impacted the whole person.
That's a whole nother level.
That is a whole.
That's like I said, you're opening different cans, and so,
Yeah.
and so, for example, let's take it back to the example that we were talking about earlier when you're trying to get your husband's attention. When he comes in from the day, even if he's working from home, the fuel that he burns for the function of a day is called testosterone. That's the fuel that he burns.
Okay.
The women, estrogen and oxytocin, that's a different matter. But when he comes home or when he gets off the phone and just sits there, he's not doing just nothing.
He's not.
It is in that quiet space, the man cave space, that he rebuilds testosterone.
Is there a space for me to rebuild my estrogen?
And so that's a very physical part of him that is necessary for the spiritual expression. But he doesn't know to say that. He said, why can't I just come home and rest for a minute? That's what he says. And he doesn't recognize that he is shifting, and he needs that shift because he needs, oh, glory. I don't know how you got me on this conversation, but
these are our conversations with Pastor Barnett. Y'all don't see behind the scenes. Kelly just takes him everywhere.
So he's unplugging from one testosterone burn, and he can plug into auxiliary resources if you give him a minute.
Yes, sir.
If you don't give him a minute, then hang in there, Tiger.
Right. It's not going to be pretty. It's not going to be pretty. Dang, right. Let me just give him a minute.
Yeah, because sometimes I've tried to wonder, I'm like, okay, was that dealing with being a slight introvert? Because she's all extrovert. I'm like half and half, but sometimes those tendencies, it's like, well, let me just step outside for a minute. I just need to get a.
So it's not introvert or extrovert. It's actually a male female thing.
You get to be you. You get to be you. And whether that be introvert or extrovert, that still does not impact who you have been designed to be as a man. And when I say that, again, we've got, and so when I say that, listen to this. When I say who you are as a man or who you are as a woman, Kelly, everybody in your audience has different conceptions of what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Because they have grown up with maybe male chauvinists, or maybe men who have, in your experience, have been important and then left. And so everything it's all confused, but God was not confused. So we need to go back into what God had intended in order to get closer to the mark. That's all.
Okay. So let's say this. Let's say we have these, Brandy, hold that question. Let's say we have these conversations and we're given, spiritual knowledge and wisdom on what God intended in the beginning. But I saw divorce, and low key, I just might have an underlying fear that I don't want to be divorced. And I respond that way in my marriage. Like, you're not going to do it. Well, then you can just go home to your mama. Or, well, then we can just get a divorce.
Is that what you said?
I did. You know what I'm saying is,
I'm with you.
When she responds like that, and she really doesn't mean it, she really is just scared that her life is going to end up the way her parents' marriage ended up. You know what I mean? So during these 12 weeks, we've just been attempting to unravel how you overcome these fears, right? By just getting to the root of the matter. It's not just you sitting there saying 50 times, I'm not scared, I'm not scared, I'm not scared, I'm just going to jump. But to really get to the root of the matter,
sure,
so that their marriages, so that fear won't guide their action, their decision making within their marriage. So after we've shown them God's intent, what would you know what I mean, for them getting to the root of the issue? Because I'm sure when you sit in counseling with people, you obviously probably get to the root of it in that
That's
type
the
of
goal.
setting, right?
That's the goal.
Yeah, because and then after you answer that, how are people's how can fear damage or sabotage the success of a marriage? Like, I just want you to just shine some light on that so people can understand. Listen, just because you're afraid of something, you can't jap out on him or jap out on her or respond to her like that because of your underlying fears or for whatever reason, being rejected, unloved, divorced, being left, because it's not going to allow you to see the fruitfulness in your marriage that you really want to see. I'm just,
Yeah, there's a lot in there.
I know that was a lot.
Yeah, there was a lot in there. And
Sorry.
Ben, I can only respond to that in very basic ways because everybody's experience is just a little bit different. But um, you asked me, what did God do when He created woman? Or that's the way I took the question. And one of the things that I want you to just visualize is that the rib that the woman was made from was positioned uniquely to be the primary coverer of his heart
Mm.
and to protect him, but also be intimate with hearing every heartbeat and even protecting that heart. And so the um, one of the um, divine aspects or um, positions that are in, I'm going to say most, if not all, because every time you say all, then you get it
Yeah.
twisted.
Yeah.
But in that place where she can hear his heartbeat and be that intimate with him, that's a place of safety. That's a
Mm.
place of safety. And he intuitively is going to protect his heart and everything that is associated with it. So for a woman in a relationship, the primary for, and I want to say for all women, and I'll say it even though I might get shouted down by any number of other women, safety is on the top of the list for women. Safety can be the rent paid. Safety can be food in the cupboard. Safety can be he doesn't yell at me. Safety
Mm.
can be all of those things. But when we look at it in general terms, a woman must need be safe. And so when she pushes people out so that they won't can't get close to her, you're not going to hurt me. Even I'd rather get divorced than
Mm.
to have you get close enough to me so that I would be wounded by your leaving. Nobody's laughing but the devil.
Mm.
Mm.
And so we have to engage her to see safety through a wholesome lens. If the men, for example, have left her, did they die? Did they not know how to treat a woman? Did the woman not know to treat them? Did they have the tools to sustain viable and whole relationship? Because it may have been that they let the marriage go because they didn't have the tools to fix it. And
Mm.
their frustration said, I'd be better off doing something else.
Mm.
And so, so that's huge. And so men need to understand that women are wired that way, that they're just, they, their divine attributes need safety. Not that a woman can't, women go to the gym and they have the education. I'm not even talking about that. I'm not even at that level. I'm talking about who she has been designed as to
Mm.
function from, looks for and requires that element of safe. And when she recognizes it, she and he recognizes it, they can, that alone will assist them in their relationship.
Mm.
He will be very careful to not raise his voice, because raising his voice can feel like violence to her.
Yeah.
And he said, all I did was raise my voice. He has no idea how she responded to that. And then
Mm.
is wondering, well, you need to just grow up.
Mm.
No, you need to learn how to treat her.
Yeah. Amen.
So
Mm.
you're asking these general questions, and I get it, but My goodness.
And so much in
I
them.
know that's some one-on-one.
And then so for then him on the other side, the burden of provision on a man, I'm not certain a woman understands.
Mm-hmm.
It consumes him.
Listen,
I'm listening, baby.
That's why Brandon said he looked at that ticket price and said, "Oh, wait, whoa, wait. You know, for the violins." It wasn't that we can't afford it, but it was invading other space that is in the realm of provision. It wasn't that he's being cheap. Women say, "You're just being cheap." No, 1,000 times no. But the equation for his self-esteem and wholeness comes from his ability to provide. And if he can't provide, or there's a chink in the armor, the weight on him is huge.
Well, where does his faith come in when it comes to that, though, right?
His faith?
Yeah, like for God to provide more. Once
Jehovah
we
Jireh,
come
my
back,
provider.
you know what I'm saying? Once we come back from the violins, the God that we serve.
Certainly.
That's Barnett talking.
Okay.
No. I'm just so he knows to go to God for the things that he has need of, but he has to process them and understand them first. It's not just a, like the preachers love to say this, Lord, you got a problem. Yeah, but a man with how God has designed him, he has designed him to examine and articulate the problem and options to solve the problem, burning testosterone, so that he can come to God intelligently and not look
come on,
and not look stupid. He wants to bring it to God, not just as a child, but as a mature offspring. And that impacts the way he processes that matter.
That's good. Okay, I know it's been an hour. I know some of you.
There's so much that can be said in that point right there. I don't even want to get off that
you
point.
Don't have
but
to, no, we can get off of that point. I understand.
We'll have to talk offline, Pastor Barnett, because I need to dig on in that.
No, you don't have to dig.
Because as many, I'm seeing many of the men on here going, yes, sir. Yeah, because I think a lot of times, especially with my wife being a great woman of faith, and sometimes I'm having to explain to her, babe, I process things a lot different, especially as a provider, and trying to be sure we're in and I think he articulated that great, because yesterday, even when she sent it, I was like, okay, babe, it's not that I know we don't have it, but is this the best decision for
that's
and
you
not
said
even, sure. Yeah. And not even just that, with other things, because she'll have, and I'm like, okay, baby, this is great. Well, we can get it back. We do a good. I'm like, okay.
Yes. So I'm not saying that we have
and it's not that he's not in faith.
Right.
It's not. Say that to me again. Say it to me again.
It can't be, because we living in faith now. We all in faith. Well, not everybody. I mean, but ours where we are now. Yeah.
I need to hear it again, Pastor Barnett. Just say it to me one more time.
Oh my God.
It's not.
His faith walk is consistent with how he's been designed. His divine attributes that include, and it's not that a woman can't be a provider. So for all of those who are not standing on the same foundation of information that I'm standing on, I know that I'm pushing buttons, and you might be saying no, or oh no, or any of those number of things. What I am sharing is that when a man is in faith, he comes boldly before the throne of God. But when he does, he has a capacity to clearly articulate the problem or the matter. For a woman, she has daddy time. And daddy, I can just go and talk to daddy about everything, and he's going to pull all of my thoughts and ideas and give me solution. Neither is wrong. They're just very different.
Neither is wrong. They're just different.
Right. Nobody's misbehaving. They're just functioning out of design.
You know what? I want y'all to type that in the chat. Nobody is misbehaving. I need to write that in my notes, because I think in marriage, we play the blame blame game, and we get to pointing fingers and why are you and why are you and why, instead of just understanding that it's not right or wrong. We're just wired differently, and nobody actually is misbehaving.
And the goal is using the wherewithal of the woman, that dispersed awarenesses, and using the focus of the man to come together so that they are functioning with the purpose and drive of the way the man has been designed, with the full awarenesses that the woman has access to, so that they can be stronger together.
Yes.
It's so much richness coming. Oh my god, it's not a competition. Wow,
it's not.
Marriage isn't.
And so many times he will reject her thoughts and ideas by saying, Pastor, I could listen to her, but she has no point. Well, you're right. She doesn't have a point. And okay, now some of the women are, I think I'm not disrespecting you.
I don't have
saying what she has is all of these vantage points of the same matter. And as she brings them to him, he says, well, she's just scatterbrained, Pastor. She's talking all over the place. No, she's bringing you perspectives that you would never have unless you had her. Because you're not processing them as perspectives on the same matter, it looks as if they have no point. And if you reject those items, then you reject the help that the Lord has given you. And that's what gives her so much frustration. She'll say, he doesn't respect what I bring to the table.
My God.
Because he doesn't understand how she's been designed.
Did you hear that?
Denard,
it's giving you perspective. I'm giving you perspective. And Pastor Barnett, I'm so glad you said that. I mean, just the other day we were talking about something and I said like 4 different points. And he was like, you always go to, I said, I didn't say we had to do that, but I'm just giving you some different ideas to consider on the matter.
But when a man gives if a man gives different ideas, they have been processed and the fluff has been eliminated, and he has come with different ideas, but they all have a focal point. And so when I come, he thinks that you should do the same thing. Don't give me all the ideas, process them and give me the important ideas so that we can be efficient here.
But I don't work like that.
You've not been designed like that.
And this needs to be an all-day event, y'all. Y'all better, I'm telling y'all better be on the lookout. This has got to come.
We're gonna do this. We're gonna do this.
Somebody said, where is the marriage? Give us the dates.
So listen, guys, listen. So let's take 5 questions. Let's take 5 questions.
And we may not even have time for all 5 because we don't want to hold Pastor Barnett all day because or if he wants to like a rapid fire, because he gonna give you the answer.
Pastor Barnett don't answer
these
quick.
Questions are coming in. No, because he's got so much wisdom, so I don't want him to feel like he has to. We don't want to hold him all day.
Right.
Because Kelly will keep him all. Kelly will keep him all day.
I respect his time. I do. Baby, do you have a question for Pastor Barnett? I'm giving you question number 1.
I think he has done so well with opening up doors today that we can go and dig into afterward. No.
Really, babe?
I know, but my question may be offline. But it's nothing bad. But let's dig. I did see some questions come out. I saw people have been getting Janice. She said she got a whole book out of this today, and she
I remember one question. Somebody said, if he needs time to process things, why is it that, and this is an adult question, why is it that when he wants some, that's got to happen right now, but everything else needs time to be processed?
All right. Is everybody grown?
I believe
Everybody's
so.
Grown.
If you're not kids, jump off here. But yeah, I already feel like.
Let me tell you what, his need for intimacy with his wife is much like a reset button for him. It resets him. It doesn't simply massage his male ego. For the immature and the ungodly, perhaps. But physical sexual intimacy between a husband and wife, it comes from a different perspective. A husband pursues his wife for intimacy, to connect to her, because he needs to be one with her. That's it. Uh, Without being too graphic, the deposit that he makes, it joins him with her and feels like he's whole again.
Mm.
For a woman, that's sex is not about that. Sex for her is when she is connected to him, she desires to give herself to him. Sex for him is, I need to connect with her, so I need to pursue her. So for all of the women that are complaining about her husband wants sex and intimacy from her, he's trying to connect, and he might not have all of the articulation that goes along with that, but being one with her makes him whole, and it clears the dust cloud. That's why he typically would go to sleep. I mean, it brings him to wholeness, and that's a huge thing. And so it's in a different category, because that is a divine attribute. And we can get into the testosterone and estrogen and oxytocin discussion there as well, because that physical element, okay, we have become, I'm talking about mankind has this awareness or thinking that I'm just talking about a man, or I'm just talking about a woman. But when we began to look at what God had done, spirit, soul, and body, all of those have a dynamic impact on what you are addressing as either male or female. But when we push those awarenesses out of the window, we come up with
what we get,
inappropriate notions and ideas for explaining what we are seeing. I hope that answers the question.
Yeah,
because I think she was saying, she said the question was, when the husband asks a question, why does my response have to be now?
Oh, her husband asks her questions. Why does she have to give him an answer right away, as opposed to her having time to process his question?
Okay, so this was not in the.
Let me understand the question. I don't
That's
understand
just
the question
regular.
again.
So you know how we were talking earlier about when you ask a man something, he needs a minute to clear his head, then make it his attention, and sometimes he needs time to process. When the husband comes to the wife and asks a question, why do we have to respond now? Why don't we have time to process?
Let me say because, and then let me explain it. Because he has put a whole lot of energy in coming up. Well, okay. Some men are not thoughtful. And so while I am talking in generalities, I'm also aware that some men are not thoughtful, and they don't even have space for the wife to be someone who also needs to process. And that's something that we would need to work on in a counseling session or over time, something like that. However, because he has been focused on the matter, he thinks that she should be equally as focused when he brings it up. But when he is taking the focus that he has brought to the table and putting in the lap of dispersed awareness, he has no idea that he rang one bell, but it impacted her from a 360-degree perspective. And so his impatience comes as a function of his lack of awareness of who she is and how she's been designed by God. For a man, he'll come up and say, well, why can't you? And if we've been talking about or thinking about a similar matter, the man is also focused, or he should be, or the man thinks he should be, and say, what are you saying, private? Speak now. And the man has to make a right now decision that he's willing to live with. And the man doesn't understand why a woman shouldn't function the same way. He's disregarding her design by God, and he's going to get, I'm going to say, crap as a result.
Man, and if he doesn't even know her design by God, there's no winning.
No.
And a lot of us don't know. Melody, can you type your question out a little more concisely? Because I'm not really sure She says, "Are you saying that a woman's point of view has not been thought out fully?"
No. That's not what. No.
Wait, I want to be sure though that she's.
Okay,
I don't think that.
let me respond to that then. What I'm saying is that a woman's point of view has typically um, um, it typically has included more voices and more perspectives
Mm,
at the same time than a man's. Um, a woman can hear a matter and reflect on something that happened 10 years ago and something that happened 10 minutes ago, and she can hear those conversations simultaneously and come up with a a perspective in the now.
yeah.
Men don't.
Right.
Mm,
I'm just saying they're different. For a man, he can go back and say, well, you know what? Somebody said, you remember that happened 15 years ago. He said, oh, that's right. He can pull those things together, but it's focus, unfocus, focus, unfocus. And he's taking notes along the way. He just processes differently. They can both come to the same conclusion and they can both hear God together. They just do it so differently. That's what I'm trying to say. They
okay.
do it so differently. When we don't understand how they process or how they engage, then we seem to invalidate their mind and heart processes. And that's where the problem comes in.
Mm, got you.
Wow.
Chandelier, we are going to do a part 2 and a part 3, 4, 5. We are really
we need
gonna
a whole
plan
Or
this.
just come to my conference, right?
Yes,
and
exactly.
and tell us when that is too. So
You got a
people can-
conference on books?
I did, but I have had to postpone it because I've been writing so much that okay, now here's the man on in me. Um, what I have just been processing and learning over the last week leading up to the conference that was supposed to be at the end of next week
Mm.
was preempting, and because I hadn't promoted it properly, I said, wait, let me just take it off the board. That's the man thing to do, and then
Mm.
find another date and just bam, go for it. And so expect a date real soon. But
Oh, very, very
yeah.
nice. Cool.
Well, we'll keep y'all up to date as much as we can. You can connect with us and Worship Life Church. Y'all already know who's going to be coming in. Anyway,
Oh, yes.
he's already one of our overseers,
Our advisor.
our advisors. So yeah, you all already know. Genesis, man, men are logical, women are analytical. So when a man comes to the woman, he has that time analyze what respond at that time.
Yeah, that's what Pastor Barnett said. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That
Yep.
okay, I can bite that, Sister Janice. But I would alter it just a little bit. Um, um, what I'm saying is both men and women can be analytical,
I am very analytical.
and both men and women can be logical. So that's not what I'm really saying, though I think I get the inference there. What I'm saying is that how they process the information in the form of analytics is very different. That's all.
Mm.
They can engage in the same conversation. They can be sitting around the same boardroom table and everything that is up on the board be analyzed and processed. But when you do things like that, you are positioning that information so that the men and women can engage in their respective analytical processes without confronting each other along the way. And when you get into a marriage, they try to process together, and there's no whiteboard that allows us individual process. There's just time management that is that function, and sometimes we don't do well with it.
Mm.
We need to learn how to communicate.
Do you have books?
We're gonna
This is what I have found out. I found out that I have to teach it and I have to give somebody to write it. When I sit down to write, I try to write and edit and all that kind of stuff all at the same time, and I get bogged down. And so I'm working on this process that is teach it to the best of my ability. Because things, for example, right now, if I'd had notes, this conversation would have gone a different way. But as I am teaching and you're pulling things out of me, well, that's the stuff that needs to be in the book.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Well, Brandy, you can't get a book. Sorry, you're gonna have to just go back and watch the replay.
Yeah, and go share this replay, y'all. I believe this is helping so many people right now. Copy it, send it to your wife, your husband, and yeah, I mean, I think it's stirring up. We're gonna have some good conversation here today too.
Miss Wilson said, when you get that conference ready, her and her husband will be there. So we will try to.
It's not long either, because I've already had it on the books, but I working with a guy that was going to put together my promo piece and whatnot, and he was slower than I needed him to be, and so the dates were right around the corner, the 25th and 26th. Well, that's next weekend. Well, you know, there would be people there, but not the number of people that I believe I need to impact. So I'm going to pick another date. We're going to go for it.
Well, he's gonna be coming to Arizona too, y'all. So he's gonna get y'all his date, and we're
gonna put it up. I have a very, very wonderful spa that we're gonna host it at. So bring your spouses, because after he fixes you up,
after
then
he
y'all
wrecks
can
us,
fixes us. Oh, yes, it's gonna be great. So someone asked, do you give private marriage counseling?
Yeah, we do.
He does. What's your contact information that perhaps we can?
Here, I'll give you the number. It's not in my head, but I have it here. Hold on. It should be in my head, right? But it's not.
Pastor Barnett, do you have like 10 minutes to address the singles? I've seen 3 different questions saying, please, do you have any rhema word right now that you can pour into these singles that are on the line? They are believing God for marriage, for a mate, but they are not married yet.
Love you too, Tanya.
Are they male? Are they male or female?
I've seen more. I've seen more females that have said that. But if there are any male singles on here, let us know as well. But I've seen more. Okay. The number, if you want to contact me for counseling, is 320-209-1775. Okay, 320-209-1775.
Yeah.
That is a great counselor, you guys. Great.
So, yeah.
So
here's the deal for singles. Let's address the single women for the most part. I mean, first,
they're desiring to be married.
Boy, you know that's another hour, right?
Just a few nuggets.
I got nothing.
Oh, see, we're not gonna hold Pastor Barnett all day, baby.
Let me say this: that a man is designed to connect with a woman that he can add to. Now, why is that important? Because if we are in a professional environment and she is my coworker and she is as capable as I am to do the job that we are doing, he will admire her, but not see places where he can bond with her. And so the frustration may be, we have such a good relationship and we talk all of the time, but he never asks me out. It's because he can't figure out how he can bond with you because you don't need anything. Right or wrong, that's how he's been wired. If he can't add anything to you, he's not intimidated. Well, let me say this to all of the ladies. He's not intimidated because you're educated. He can't find out where to hook in. He can't find out where to bond, where to plug in, because there's no need. You have no needs. You've already demonstrated that. You make as much money as him. And I'm not saying make less money than him and get barefoot and pregnant. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that there is a holy and I think intelligent vulnerability that can be shared. That's why a woman shouldn't just want a man. She needs to want a man who is the right fit. Because when she exposes any level of vulnerability, that's what he needs, that he can fit and bond with her. If she never shows that to him, he can't find it. They can go out and have fun, but he can't bond. And that's a challenge. And there's a million other things that I'm not mentioning here. And so we have to put that on the side. So then for the single men, the women who you are competing with, if it's in a workspace, the women that you are competing with don't need to be dominated, and they don't need another woman to talk as much as they do. What they need is someone that will, a man, if you are the approacher, a man who, watch this, who understands their value. Because if you understand her perspective, that's how she will connect to you. And that is huge. Yeah, we do need to teach new rules.
You see?
Yeah, it's a different game. I see that, Pastor Monty. Absolutely.
Because I'm sitting here listening to that, and I'm just trying to figure out, he has to get extremely close. If she's in the workforce and she's got it together, he's got to get extremely close to find where his hook fits in, because it may not be.
No.
How can he find it?
He's going, if she, okay. Men, again, they need to see where they fit in. And she is going to have to be very judicious about how she exposes any vulnerability to him, and determine whether or not he can handle her vulnerability without trying to exploit it for competitive advantage. It's a tough space. It's a tough space.
I get it. I see what you're saying.
I just think it's been such an interesting space for a lot of, especially Christian singles, and that would be a whole nother discussion. When it comes to now, those that have wanted to be married, in their 30s, but now they're in their 40s, and I don't know.
Part of the challenge is that there are good men who are not in the circles of the good women. They're not in the same space. And so I hear a lot of women saying, where are all of the good men? Where are they? We find that there are more females graduating from college in this day than there are men. Now, there's a whole lot of reason for that. And so then they get into the competitive space of the marketplace, and then they wonder where are all of the men. Well, part of this cultural challenges and circumstances that I've been talking about have infected how many men are. Oh man, I don't want to open up another can of worms, so let me choose my words carefully.
Right, Brandy, right.
Why is it like that? Let's address, why is it that, and it's not that men are stupid. We know better than that. It's not that they are not ambitious. We know better than that. Why is it that we have more women graduating from college than we do men nowadays? And so they're not in the social spaces or the professional spaces that the women are in, those who are not incarcerated, and that's a whole different matter, particularly in the arenas of mass incarceration. But there's been the serpent was more subtle than all of the beasts of the field.
Oh, he's working it. He's working it.
He's working it from all ends.
He is and it is so evident. It is.
And then we have the women, and they're making decisions on the appropriate male based on a biological clock, and men have no reference for a biological clock, in terms of their pursuit of a woman and or having children. It's just not the same. So there's so many conversations that we're not having that would probably be brought to the table if we were going to really, work our way through.
Wow. Yeah, I even from the male perspective of, the single males, that maybe there's some on here that are just trying to figure out how to approach a what could be perceived as a successful woman, et cetera, et cetera. I'm only asking because I've seen, and Kelly and I have had this conversation before with singles that we may know that seem to have it together, but just don't seem, or there's the issue where we've had the other time where there's so much on the checklist that a man can't meet as a single male trying to come into a woman who has it together, and he's trying to meet her checklist. And oftentimes we've seen them either not get married or they feel like they're settling because somebody, I don't know. I feel like there's so much I can ask in this question, but I want to.
Well, yeah, and and again, you're opening another chapter, but a woman gets to have a checklist. She just needs to be aware that when she's making that checklist, the number of suitable or qualified applicants gets reduced and reduced and reduced, and maybe there's no one at the end of the day, at least in the spaces that you occupy, that can check all of the boxes. And so when she settles, she's settling for something less than Prince Charming, perhaps. But if she were to take another look at her list and look at what she really needs, and sometimes women, if want and need are two different things. Well, this is a complicated conversation. But but what they want is not always what they need.
Right. I love dark chocolate men. Dark as night.
Yeah.
But what I needed was this light skinned brother right here. I'm sorry, Pastor Barnett. I'm sorry.
I can't say mine online. She
well,
I love caramel color.
Listen, everybody has some image that is perhaps a preferred or an idealized image, and that has come from God knows where. Well, I can talk about the men, because men are visual, a divine attribute. That is not the dog in him. That's a divine attribute. And we can talk about the benefits of being visual. And whomever impacted that man the first time and was for whatever other reasons, something to be desired, that was imprinted on him.
Did I imprint?
And he didn't control the first woman that impacted him like that. And he can't control the images or the impact that it made. He's got to work from it. That's completely different. That's I don't want to get into that conversation, but
Pastor Barnett. Yeah, that's a
whole different conversation.
Somebody asked the question, is the conversation or the teaching to divorced singles the same that you would give to singles that have never been married?
Absolutely. If a woman has been divorced, in the eyes of God, she has the same rights and privileges as a virgin. And I have scripture to support that.
So your teaching doesn't change.
Absolutely not.
Come on, Monty. I'm sorry.
Pastor Monty said I gotta sleep on the couch tonight because I said I like dark chocolate.
Come on.
No. Well, but so understand this. If Kelly understands that that the image of the dark chocolate man has impacted her somewhere. It may have been a father, a uncle, a grandfather. It could have been somebody that she saw in a professional atmosphere, and that admiration hit. It's the admiration for the individual who was in that house. It doesn't mean that her eyes are wandering, and her husband can take advantage of her elevated libido if he's smart.
Did you just put my business on national TV like that? Did you just
Yes, I did.
an elevated libido about me? Oh my God. Did
Yeah.
you just say that?
Oh,
Yeah.
this is too funny.
Yeah, he can take advantage of that.
Now I'm too shy.
Take advantage of, not in terms of using her, but he can take advantage of the moment when she is open in that a romantic area and enjoy his wife with that level of openness that may not always be there.
Put this thing down.
I am never allowed to be used as an example ever.
She's never like, Lord, help
Never,
us. She's been over here
ever,
going in.
ever again.
Be fearless, Kelly. Come on, that's it.
Come on, be with the Idris Elba voice. Let me hear your Idris Elba.
I want to hear that. Let me hear your J-Lo voice. Let me.
Monty, you see what you started?
Since we go in there,
Did he just say J-Lo?
I'm telling y'all, Shay was over here. Rock came on TV. I got to fight for my life. Go hit the gym. Dwayne Johnson. Now he ain't dark and chocolate. Y'all, this is all up. We having a good time here. I'm just playing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
It has been an hour and 38 minutes.
We are not going to
hold
past Barnett.
hope
I've already changed my whole. I had thoughts for today. Now I got. Oh, this has been so good. It's been so good,
Pastor Barnett.
Yes, thank
you
y'all. Please,
so
can we say
much.
thank you
Praise the
to
Lord.
Pastor Barnett? Yes, please bless
Yes.
him today. Even when we shared that Cash App earlier,
Oh, yeah.
Cash App P Barnett 1. Is that right?
Was it
D
Oh.
Pastor B.
D Pastor B. Excuse me. I'm sorry.
D one and
D
only
Pastor B. D Pastor B.
Monty said, "Let's have a fearless after party." Yes,
Oh
Pastor
Lord,
Monty, yes.
have mercy, y'all have been hanging on here too. I've seen
The numbers have not moved.
Yeah, y'all are like sticking on here. Thank
This
you,
was
Val.
so good, so good.
But yeah, we pray for the singles, and Pastor Brandon, if you can just leave
It's a whole different conference, because those that are single are managing more in this generation than ever before, because the boundary markers have been moved. And where do I fit, and where does a man fit? What is a good man? Men have been so feminized that is there a good man, and all these kinds of things. And I'm not talking about homosexuality, anything like that. We can have that conversation too. But my point is that the markers have been moved, and everybody's kind of wandering around, wondering, what do I do? That's what needs to be addressed, and how we address it, is for the individual. So we do need to have a singles conference,
Yeah, and maybe we'll figure out when you come to Worship Life in Arizona, maybe we can do a 2-day, one day for the marriage, 1 day for the singles, and figure out how to work that together. And those that are married that want to hear can stick over or something. But
we'll work it out.
Yeah, I'm excited, looking forward to it. So hey, you all, Pastor Brandon, would you just release a word of prayer over the marriage and singles before we go, and we will go ahead and
absolutely. Heavenly Father, in the name of Jesus, we thank you, Lord, for this opportunity to break the bread of life. Father, that we will be strong and be bold, because we know that you are with us whithersoever we go. We thank you that we have the unction of the Holy Spirit, Lord, and we would hear the voice of God in every matter and every circumstance, so that we would prevail with the word of God on our lips. Help us, Lord. Lead us into divine truth with divine unction. I pray a blessing and revelation knowledge on all of the people that will hear and are a part of this conversation today, that, Lord, because you will never leave us nor forsake us, we are never in a space of hopelessness. Father, we are far beyond hopeless. We are moving into fearless. We thank you that through the revelation, the education, and the understanding of the word of God, we will walk on serpents and scorpions and over all of the power of the enemy, and nothing shall by any means hurt us. We thank you for this revelation. In Jesus' name, amen.
Pastor Barnett.
Wait, before
everybody.
we go.
Before we go. What are we doing?
I got some outro
What
music.
now?
What, babe?
Okay. All right. Go ahead.
It's my outro music.
All right. She's got her outro music. Thank you, Pastor Barnett, for being a part of this. We so appreciate you. And we can't wait to share. Kelly's still playing. It's our anniversary next week. So we won't be on. We won't be on next week, y'all, but we appreciate you all so much. And thank you all for being on here today. All right, everybody.
Love you all.
Love y'all.